نصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. So while we were having break, I went over the list of hadith which are scrutinized by Hazrat Maulana Latif Rahman Sahab in this book Tahqiq al-Maqal fi takhrij ahadith Fadhail al-A'mal. So Hazrat Maulana writes that in Fadhail books there are total of 377 ahadith, and when I checked them, Hazrat writes 53 are muttafaq alayhi, meaning they are in both books, Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim. 10 are in Bukhari Sharif alone. 33 in Muslim Sharif alone. 37 ahadith Sahih al-Thatihi. 25 Sahih li-ghayrihi. 23 Hasan li-Zatihi. And 59 Hasan li-ghayrihi. And 130 Zaif. So from 377, if you take away 130, kitne honge Ahmad? 247. So 247 ahadith are either Sahih or Hasan. Only 130 ahadith in Fadhail A'mal are Zaif. But people today who object on Fadhail A'mal talk in such a manner that whole of Fadhail A'mal is Zaif hadith. Do you see the difference? Some even go on to say that Fadhail A'mal is filled with shirk. Now what is shirk? This is amazing. We have a nice book called Difa'i Fadhail A'mal, Defense of Fadhail A'mal. Very thick book. My friend Maulana Fahad Amin Sahab of Buraq Books or Buraq Publications over here in Birmingham, Telford, he sent me a PDF of that book. And Maulana, the Musannif Maulana Rabnawaz Sahab, has mentioned the reasons in there why some people object on Fadhail A'mal. So some of their own, people, ghair muqallideen, give the reasons why they object on Fadhail A'mal. He narrates in there that some feel that people are leaving the Jamaat-e Ahl Hadith for Jamaat-e Tabligh. So we have to put a break on them. So that is why they criticize and they go after Fadhail A'mal. Among one of their speakers on internet is Tawseefur Rahman Sahab. And Tawseefur Rahman Sahab is constantly bombarding and criticizing Fadhail A'mal. Shirk, this shirk, that shirk. This story is shirkiya nature. Imam Abu Hanifa Rahmatullah used to do wuzu and he used to see people's sins falling with the wuzu water. So this is ilmul ghaib. And ilmul ghaib is for Allah only. So this story is shirk with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, my dear friend, what is shirk in there? Shirk is associating some partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We are not associating Imam Abu Hanifa with Allah. We are not saying Imam Abu Hanifa is Allah, na'udhu billah. This is something to do with kashf. And kashf means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's revealing something in front of some of his chosen servants. It doesn't happen all the time, it happens sometimes when Allah wants, Allah wills. And this kushuf used to happen to Anbiya alayhimus salam, Sahaba kiram, Awliya izam. Hazrat Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam on the morning of Mi'raj stood in front of Hatim, in front of Kaaba Sharif in Hatim. And the mushrikeen started asking him questions about Baytul Maqdis. That you've been to Masjid Aqsa? Okay, let's ask them questions. Because some of those gatherings had been to Masjid Aqsa and they knew that Prophet ﷺ had never been there in his real life. 53 years, he'd never been that far as Baytul Maqdis. He's gone to some close by places in journeys like Busra, up to Busra, Buhaira, Rahib and that travels, but he'd never been to Baytul Maqdis. So they start asking questions. Now Prophet ﷺ says that they asked me such questions that I did not, see those things properly. And many times you see something with one glance, you forget as well. So he said, فَسَأَلَتْنِي عَنْ أَشْيَاءَ عَنْ مَسْرَايَ لَمْ أُثْبِتْهَا فَكُرِبْتُ كُرْبَةً مَا كُرِبْتُ مِثْلَهُ قَطُّ. I was shaken. I had never been shaken like that before. What should I say? They're asking me these questions. Let's say for example, what color is the dome? What color is the mihrab? What color is the carpet? What color are the walls? How big is the sehen? What is in the courtyard? Are there any trees in there or not? Now such questions you don't know. So he says, I couldn't answer. And suddenly, فَجَدَّ اللَّهُ لِي بَيْتَ الْمَقْدِسِ فَطَفِقْتُ أُخْبِرُهُمْ عَنْ آيَاتِهِ وَأَنَا أَنْظُرُ إِلَيْهِ. Allah opened up Baytul Maqdis before me and I was giving them the answers while I was looking at Baytul Maqdis. This is Kashf. He's in Makkah and Baytul Maqdis is somewhere and it's opened up before him. And many of these incidents, this Allah informs Anbiya. Hazrat Umar radiyallahu anhu, Ya Sari al-Jabal, Ya Sari al-Jabal. Where is Nahavand and where is Medina? But he could see that because of Kashf. Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu. How come people come in our majlis while their eyes have committed zina? He could see that some young man had come into his majlis after committing zina of the eyes in the market. So Allah exposed it to Hazrat Usman Ghani radiyallahu anhu. This is Kashf. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu said, my wife is pregnant and she's going to give birth to a baby girl. So this is a sort of kashf. Allah opened it to Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. So these types of incidents of kashf are narrated from Anbiya, Sahaba, Awliya. If Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah alayhi narrates this incident of kashf, then there's no shirk in there. If this is shirk that Imam Abu Hanifa could see the sin falling with the wuzu water, then are those other incidents not shirk as well? If they are not shirk, then this is not shirk either. They object on an incident in Fadhail A'mal, in Fadhail of Kalma Tayyibah. That is, some riwayat would say if a person reads Kalma Tayyibah 70,000 times and gives the sawab to someone, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives them. So this Shaykh writes that, we had a young man who was said to have Kashful Qubur. So sometimes the conditions of the graves would open up before him. And it used to open up before Nabi Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam as well. He was passing by and said, these two graves, they are being punished because of not staying away from ghibat and urine drops. So he could see that condition. So this young man was said that he could see the conditions. So the Shaykh says that we were sitting in majlis and the young man lowered his head and then he was crying, grieved, saddened, and he said, I saw my mother in azab and punishment. So the Shaykh thought to himself, today I can put him to test. And he had some nisab of 70,000 which he had read and he had gathered. And in his heart and mind, he said to himself that, oh Allah, if this young man is telling the truth, then that nisab of 70,000 which I have, give that to his mother. After a while, he lowered his head, he raised his head up again. I said, Alhamdulillah, my mother has been forgiven and the azab has been removed from her. So the Shaykh says this, explained two things to me. One, that the young man's, understanding and his vision of the qubur was right. And secondly, that this 70,000 la ilaha illallah does help in gaining forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this hadith, this story is narrated in Fadhail Amal. So they say this is shirk. Now what is shirk in that kashf of qubur? These types of objections are made on Fadhail Amal, but they are not worthy objections. One thing to note over here is, these incidents and stories are not of Hazrat Shaykh Zakariya's own. He didn't say, I saw this, I saw the wuzu water dropping, I saw the condition of the qabr, I saw that. It's not his own. He is only a narrator. He is narrating from others. He normally narrates from Rawdul Riyahin fi Hikayat al-Salihin by Abu Abdullah al-Yafi'i al-Yamani. In Fadhail Amal, you will see at the bottom Rawd. So this Rawd is reference to Rawdul Riyahin. Or he narrates from Ghazali's Ihya. So at the bottom you might see Ihya. So the objection does not go on Shaykh Zakariya, it goes on those who narrated it. And they narrated it from reliable sources, so there should be no objection on them. Now, this brings us to a second question. With regards to hadith, there is great scrutiny. We are careful of the narrators, and we are careful of the fact that the hadith is not a fabrication. There might be some weakness in the chain of narration. Maulana Muhammad Dilir Sahib reminded me something nice. He said, the weakness, you have to explain to people that the weakness is in the chain of narration, not in the text itself. Because the text can be supported by other sources as well. So sometimes there is weakness in one chain or two chains, but there are other supporting evidence. So the matan and the text itself is not zaif. So this scrutiny is of ahadith mubarakah. With regards to hikayat, Hazrat Shaykh Abdul himself has said that hikayat of salihin, we can be lenient in them. We don't have to scrutinize them as strictly as hadith, because they are only history. And historical events and facts do not have to be scrutinized in the strictest manner like ahadith mubarakah. Hikayat can be narrated. You want to accept that hikayat, okay. You don't want to accept it, it's up to you. But hikayat is a historical event. It's narrated. You can take it if you want to, you can reject it if you want to, but you can't object on the narrator. Why did he narrate it? So Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullahi Alayhi has narrated these hikayat. And why does he narrate these hikayat? Because hikayat have great ibrat and lessons in them. Hazrat Junaid Baghdadi Rahmatullahi Alayhi said that hikayat are jundun min junudillah. They are an army from the armies of Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through these army of hikayat, he puts great effect into the hearts of those who are listening to those hikayat. So people like stories. They love stories. With children, you sit down, you tell them nice stories, they like them. So as long as there is a basis of story, that the story is not contradicting with any principles of Quran and Hadith, it's not a fabrication, there might be some weakness in the chain of that narration, it's not total fabrication, then you are allowed to narrate it. So Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah is narrating from these legends like Ghazali and Abu Abdullah al-Yamani and these ulama. Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah has explained this in the beginning in one of his books as well in this manner. So these stories which we have are hikayat of kushuf, karamat. There is no shirk in there. We will go over some of the reasons. Maulana in Difa'i Fadhail Amal writes, one of the reasons which I have mentioned, some people feel that people are leaving their Jamaat, so they want to bring them back and put a break on them, so they start attacking Fadhail Amal. Number two, he writes that some people have nafrat and hatred for Tablighi Jamaat. And Tablighi Jamaat use Fadhail Amal, so they attack Fadhail Amal in order to attack Tablighi Jamaat as well. Number three, he says that some people have great desire and zeal to attack Hadith without any reason. They take this mission upon themselves to criticize Ahadith for no reason. For example, it is narrated in the Hadith that some Sahaba drank the blood and urine of the Prophet ﷺ. But when the Ghair Muqallideen object and criticize on Fadhail Amal, they object on this Hadith. Now they are not in reality objecting on Fadhail Amal, they are objecting on the Hadith itself. Now the Hadith of the Sahabi Malik ibn Sinan drinking the blood of the Prophet ﷺ or Abdullah ibn Zubair is narrated in Mustadrak Hakim and other sources. Maulana Abdullah Ma'rufi Sahab has mentioned all those sources in here. So when the Hadith is reliable, narrated by Hakim in his Mustadrak and others, then what is the need to criticize the Hadith? By criticizing Fadhail Amal, you are just criticizing the Hadith itself. The Hadith is reliable. The reason why they drank the blood of the Prophet ﷺ will be investigated. Some people, they object that drinking blood is haram. Why did the Sahabi drink it? Well, when did the Sahabi drink it? The Sahabi Malik ibn Sinan died in the battle of Uhud. So he must have, this incident must have occurred before that. So maybe the hurmat of drinking blood had not yet come down. The hurmat of drinking blood came later on. At that moment, there was no indication of drinking blood being haram. And Abdullah ibn Zubair, he was a young boy. He was only 9, 10 when the Prophet ﷺ died. And Prophet ﷺ had just told him that his hajam and cupping was done. He told him to throw the blood away. So the young boy, something happened to him, he drank the blood. When Prophet ﷺ asked him, what did you do with the blood? He said, I drank it. Now Prophet ﷺ said, well, you got the blood of a prophet in your body, the fire of Jahannam will not touch your body. Will not touch your body. However, you drank blood, that means, you will be a warrior and fighter. And both things happened. Abdullah ibn Zubair was an extremely devoted worshipper. So he was a young boy, he was under 16, he was nabaligh. And he did that action out of his love. So you can't take that and criticize the hadith in Fadhail Amal. With regards to the urine, the incident happened was Ayman. She came to the house of the Prophet ﷺ, and Prophet ﷺ had a utensil like a bottle in which he would urinate at night. Then in the morning it would be thrown away. So he was left under the bed. So she came to the house because she was very frequenter. She was like a mother to the Prophet ﷺ. So she came to the house of the Prophet ﷺ. She was sitting there waiting. She was feeling thirsty. She saw that utensil. She saw this water. There was no foul smell in there. So she drank it. She didn't realize. When the Prophet ﷺ came and asked that, did you throw the urine away? And asked, no, where is it? And said, oh, I drank it, Ya Rasulullah. So Prophet ﷺ said, Ayman, your stomach will never ache. You will never get pain in your stomach. And throughout her life, she was over 90, she never had a stomach ache. Now, this was, not a deliberate act, it was unintentional. Now, this Hazrat Shaykh has narrated this in Fadhail Amal, and some people object on Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullahi for narrating, but the hadith itself is correct. There is no harm in there. So, ghair muqallideen, some Salafis, they have this notion of attacking hadith, and they attack hadith for no reason. This is one of the reasons why, they object upon a hadith. The fourth reason, there are many hadith, of this type on which they object. For example, they say that Fadhail Amal in Fadhail Namaz, Salat, Shaykh narrates about, excessive worship of some Salaf. Like Imam Abu Hanifa prayed Fajr Salah with the wuzu of Isha for 40 years. So they say this is the fabrication. You can't, do such worship throughout the whole night. It's wrong. So what is this objection? Hazrat Maulana Abdul Hayy Laknawi Rahmatullahi Alayhi has written a very nice book called Iqamatul Hujjah ala anna al-ikthara min al-ibadati laysa bi-bid'ah. And he has narrated in there from several tabi'een who used to pray Fajr with the wuzu of Isha. From Sa'id ibn Jubair and Sa'id ibn Musayyib for 50 years, Fajr with the wuzu of Isha. We can't do it for one night, but they used to do it throughout their lives. Because, there were such people, they were devoted. That era was such, everybody was like that. The Mushayikh, the Muhaddithin, the Tabi'een, they loved worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and they were extremely strong people. Someone asked Imam Abu Hanifa, where do you get the strength from? And he says that, once Imam Abu Hanifa was passing by some area, and two old ladies were talking among themselves, and they said, that man, Abu Hanifa, who's passing by, he never sleeps at night, he worships throughout the whole night. So Imam Abu Hanifa heard them and he said, Wallahi la yatahaddathu an-nasu anni bima lam af'al. Wallah, people not talk about me with something I don't do. So from now on, I'm going to put it on myself to stay awake the whole night and worship Allah the whole night. And then he made dua with Asma'i Husna. And he said, Allah, please give me the strength to worship you throughout the whole night. Allah accepted his dua. And he said, I don't feel sleepy. Even in the morning, there's no fatigue and weakness in my body. He used to sleep a little in the afternoon, siesta, qaylula, with the intention of sunnah. He said, I don't need this sleep either, but it's just for following sunnah that I do a little bit of qaylula. So, iksar of ibadah. Shaykh has narrated that. Now, Shaykh has narrated that because of the hadith, عليك بكثرة السجود فإنك لن تسجد لله سجدة إلا رفعك الله بها درجة وحط عنك بها خطية. So these ulama, they used to worship as much as they could. So how can you object on Imam Abu Hanifa's practice and object on this hadith when the hadith is sabit and is authentic, that you should do as many sujuds as you can, worship Allah as much as you can. Worship is the purpose of our creation. وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So these are some of the objections. Sometimes, they object on the hadith of Musa alayhi salam being alive in the qabr and praying. Shaykh narrated this in Fadhail Amal, that Prophet ﷺ saw in the night of Mi'raj Musa alayhi salam praying in his qabr. They say, how can prophets be alive and pray in their qabr? Now this objection is not on Fadhail Amal, it's on the hadith itself. When the hadith itself is authentic, is being narrated by authentic narrators, how can you object on the hadith itself? But some people have this mentality of attacking everything that they cannot comprehend. And this fitna is on the increase at the moment, even in the Arab countries. They attack many hadiths of Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim because they can't comprehend it. They think it's against logic, it defies logic, so we shall have to reject it. But if it's narrated with Sahih Naqal, Sahih narrators, how can you reject it? We have to understand that Naqal takes precedence over Aql. So, as we explained in the first lesson, so some people say these types of things. My friend Maulana Zubair Malik from Medina Sharif sent me this video clip this morning. There is an Egyptian, speaker who comes on some program on the TV channel, and he is talking about hadith of Sahih Bukhari. No, this hadith is wrong. It's hadith, criticizes Ummahatul Mu'mineen. We have to protect the honor of Ummahatul Mu'mineen more than Bukhari and Muslim, so we reject this hadith. This hadith is mawdu. This hadith is fabricated. Even if it's in Bukhari, it's still fabricated. Even if it's in Muslim, it's still fabricated. So this type of mentality, they bring the hadith of Muslim that there was a person who was accused of having Nabi Na'uzubillah doing something wrong with an Walad of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Walad indication is towards Maria Qibtiyya. So Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said to Ali, "Oh Ali, why are people talking in this manner? Go and kill him." So Ali went and he was bathing in some water. So Ali said, "Come out." So he said, "Give him his hand," and they pulled him out. And Ali saw, that he had no zakar. So he realized that because he had no private part, he's majboob, cut. So he can't have intercourse with anyone. So Ali left him. He came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, "Ya Rasulullah, this tuhmat and accusation is wrong." So Prophet ﷺ said, "You did the right thing." So he said, "What is this hadith? This is an attack on Ummahatul Mu'mineen." Now he confuses the audience. The word is Walad, not Ummahatul Mu'mineen. Ummahatul Mu'mineen are the wives. Walad is the slave girl, and Maria Qibtiyya. And then what happened was that person was from Egypt, and Maria Qibtiyya was from Egypt. So sometimes, because from being the same area, they used to talk. So some people started, some munafiqeen hypocrites, they used to start, bad mouthing. So Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't like it. But when he found out that, that that's wrong, Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, "Okay." So this person starts saying, "No, this is accusation of Mu'mineen. We can't believe in this hadith." Without trying to understand the meaning of the hadith, he's classing it as mawzu and he's saying, "We don't accept that hadith of Muslim." So this type of behavior among some people, this one point I was going to mention in the first program as well, that when you start belittling and criticizing Zaif hadith, then slowly, you start criticizing Sahih hadith as well. And then you start rejecting Sahih hadith as well. And Na'uzubillah, there's going to time come when you're going to start rejecting Qurani ayat as well. That we can't understand this Qurani ayat defies logic, so it's not right, we don't believe in that. So you have to start behaving right from the bottom. You have to start showing some respect to Zaif ahadith. Then you will show respect to all other ahadith and you will show respect to the whole deen. So these are some of the things, reasons. Number 4, Hazrat Maulana writes that the 4th reason is that some people turn away from usul hadith, principle of hadith, and they object on Fadhail A'mal. Hazrat Shaykh Abdul Raheem himself writes in Fadhail A'mal, page number 384, that finally, I would like to mention this fact, as well as that Hazrat Muhaddiseen have been very flexible in the matter of riwayat of Fadhail. They have overlooked slight weakness in the chain of narrations. However, with regards to Sufiya Kiram, their incidents and stories, they have a historical aspect to it. And it is quite evident that the rank of history is well below the rank of Hadith Sharif. Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria is saying that in matter of ahadith of Fadhail, we have to be lenient, and with regards to the stories and incidents, we have to be extra lenient because they are stories. They cannot be scrutinized in the strictest manner like a hadith is scrutinized. So, this is the 4th reason they are going against the basic usul of hadith. This is why we say that rather than objecting on this principle of hadith or on muhaddiseen, they should do their own islah and rectify their own condition by accepting the hadith of Fadhail A'mal when majority of muhaddiseen have accepted it then why should a few people reject and object on Fadhail Amal? Number 5, he writes that some people have a takfiri mentality. They label everything with shirk and everyone as mushrik. Allama Wahidul Zaman Sahab writes regarding his own fault, our ghair muqallideen label every Muslim beside them as mushrik and kafir. Upon small minor arguments, they label people as mushriks and grave worshippers. Maulana Sharafuddin Sahab Dehlvi writes that these people have a factory of kufr. They label Muslims and muwahhids with kufr. They don't label the non-Muslims with kufr, but they go after the Muslims. This is due to hasad, jealousy, la ilmi, ignorance, khud gharzi, some personal motives. Fatawa Sanaiya, page 211, volume 1. Maulana Ilahi Bakhsh Sahab writes regarding the takfiri people that may Allah protect us and Muslims from schism and ikhtilaf and disputing. Many people label others with kufr on minor things. And by labeling a Muslim with kufr, they themselves become kafir. Fatawa Sanaiya, page 213, volume 1. Do you understand the last wordings? If you label someone as mushrik, then you yourself become mushrik. I'm not saying this is in Fatawa Sanaiya. And this is in reference to a hadith of Sahih Muslim, wherein it is narrated that the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا أَكْفَرَ الرَّجُلُ أَخَاهُ فَقَدْ بَاءَ بِهَا أَحَدُهُمَا. When a person calls his Muslim brother kafir, then one of them will return with that. If the mukhatab, the addressed, is a kafir, then the address will go to him. But if he is not a kafir, then it will return to the speaker. Na'udhu billah. He will become kafir. This is hadith in Sahih Muslim, Kitabul Iman, volume 1. So some people have this takfiri mentality of labeling everything with shirk and everyone as mushrik beside themselves. So they label Fadhail Amal as shirk and all those who read Fadhail Amal as mushriks. So this mentality leads them to objecting on Fadhail Amal. So they have to correct their own condition and get rid of this mentality of labeling everything with kufr and shirk. This is the 5th reason why they attack Fadhail Amal. Number 6, why they reject Fadhail Amal. We mentioned in the first discourse that their denial of kashf and ilham. They refuse to accept kashf and ilham. They say there is no such thing as kushuf, karamat, ilhamat. So this is why they reject Fadhail Amal. But kushuf and karamat are proven, like we mentioned earlier, that Nabi Kareem Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to have kashf, Sahaba Ikram used to have kashf, many awliya izam used to have kashf, and karamat are proven. Wa karamatul awliya haqqun. How can you deny karamat? You know, karamat, what is karamat? Karamat literally means ikram, honor, izzat. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sometimes honors some of his chosen servants by showing them some miracle. If it happened on the hand of a Nabi, then it's called mu'jiza. But if it happened on at the hands of a wali, then it's called karamat. Any miracle of a Nabi is mu'jiza, and miracle of a wali is karam. Safina, Sahabi Rasul, lost and from the army, separated from the army, in the jungle. A lion approaches, and he says to the lion, "O lion, I am khadim of the Prophet ﷺ, my flesh is haram on you." So the lion comes close, turns around, wags its tail, and Safina understands that he wants to follow him. So he follows the lion, and the lion directs him, guides him towards the army. And along the way, if there is any risk or threat, the lion roars at that risk and drives it away and comes back and takes Hazrat Safina radiallahu anha. This is in Mishkatul Masabih. Is karamat of Sahabi. 2 Sahabas, Abbad ibn Bishr and Usayd ibn Hudayr, sat with the Prophet ﷺ late at night. It was really pitch black, dark, there was no moonlight. End of the month, no stars. And while they were returning, they were feeling scared because of the darkness, and they had a long distance to travel to get to homes. Suddenly, the stick, the walking stick in their hand, turned into light, and they could see in the light. And they kept on walking smoothly until they had to go separate ways. And the walking stick in the other hand, it also turned into light. And they both separated and they reached their homes and the light disappeared. This is karamat, ikram. So, karamat of Sahaba. Maulana Sharaf Ali Thanvi has written karamat of Sahaba, 300 karamat of Sahaba. And Karamatul Awliya, Shaykh Yusuf al-Nabhani has written 2 volumes of Karamatul Awliya. So, if Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah has narrated these Karamatul Awliya in his book, then what's wrong with that? Over here in Fadhail Amal, Maulana Latifur Rahman Sahib has mentioned many Karamat of Allama Ibn Taymiyyah Rahmatullah. Ibn al-Qayyim narrates from his Shaykh that many times he said something and exactly that happened. He said, once I came to him, I had some questions in my mind, and Ibn Taymiyyah, he started, telling me, you got this question in your mind, this is the answer. This question, this answer. This question, this is the answer. So what is this discussion? Because Allama Ibn Taymiyyah, rahmatullah alayhi, also he was a very, devoted person. He used to do his wazaif at night, in the morning, azkar, awrad. So Allah opened his heart. So how can you deny these Kushuf and Karamat? Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah has narrated these in his book. So some people object on that, whereas these Karamat are sabit, there is no harm and no reason, no harm in narrating those Karamat, no reason why we should reject those Karamat. Hazrat Maulana has mentioned many pages of those Karamats in here. I'm not going to go in them details, just indicating that these things are possible. And if there are any of such stories narrated in the books of Fadhail, no harm in them. Some people object that in Fadhail al-Durud, there is this story that this person was traveling and he was told while they were sleeping, his father was sleeping beside him. So he saw a dream in which he was told, your father has died in sleep, and he was a very sinful person, so his face has turned black. So he woke up and he opened the sheet from his father's face, and that was the reality. His father had died and his face had turned black. So he said, I was really grieved, I couldn't tell anyone, and I was crying. And suddenly I saw some, Nurani appearance, some coming towards, and he wiped his hand over the face of my father, and the color changed to normality, the blackness, dark effects went away, and he was returning. I asked him, who are you? And he said, I am your Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Your father used to pray durood a lot, so I came to his help at the time of his need, and that Nurani face disappeared. So Shaykh has narrated this story in Fadhail Amal. So they say this story is fabricated. But Shaykh has narrated it. He saw it acceptable. That's why he narrated it. How can you object on that and call it fabrication when it's the karamat? Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he's informed of our durood when our durood reaches him. So if he wants to go and help someone, what is stopping him? Do you not know the incident of Hazrat Yusuf ala Nabiyina alayhi salam? When Zulaykha attempted to seduce him, Allah said, وَلَقَدْ هَمَّتْ بِهِ وَهَمَّ بِهَا لَوْلَا أَن رَأَى بُرْهَانَ رَبِّهِ. Mufassirin have narrated this Burhan Rabbihi, that Yusuf alayhi salam was there, he was in that conditioned state, agitated, shaking, and he saw Yaqub alayhi salam appear before him, biting on his fingers. Yusuf, don't do anything wrong. And Yusuf alayhi salam stopped, and this is Burhan Rabbihi. Allah showed him that Burhan and evidence. So, Mufassirin have narrated that. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows. So over here as well, if the Prophet ﷺ appeared, Prophet wiped his face, hand over the face of that deceased person, and his color, the blackness went away, then what harm is in there? So if you don't understand anything, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ إِن كُنتُمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. So these are some of the reasons why people object on Fadhail Amal. Number seven, seventh reason why people object on Fadhail Amal is they have this hatred of tasawwuf. And Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah has narrated many incidents of Sufiya Kiram and many quotes of Sufiya Kiram. Beautiful quotes of Sufiya Kiram. And Hazrat Shaykh's book, it looks like, it's coming from the same source as Ihya al-Ulum of Imam Ghazali. From the light is coming from the same window. They are both from the same source. Imam Ghazali's Ihya al-Ulum, he also quotes these incidents, and very, very nice. And Shaykh takes from there and from other books. So Shaykh's books is more like Ihya al-Ulum of Imam Ghazali. And very nice quotes of Sufiya Kiram. And Sufiya Kiram are Ahlul Qulub. They are the people, men of the heart. And their hearts are clean, pure, they are inspired by Allah, they get ilham from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So their words are very beautiful, very nice. Some people have hatred for tasawwuf and they say we only have to take from Quran and Hadith, we don't need these Sufis calls. And we don't need Sufi stories. We don't need Shaykh. I can do my own Islah. I don't need the Shaykh to come for my Islah. Now, this type of notion is wrong. It's against the way of Salaf Salihin. If you see our Aslaf, they used to stay in the company of their Mashayikh and learn from them. Like we learn, Quran from a teacher, Fiqh from a teacher, Hadith from a teacher, and Tafsir from a teacher. Similarly, we have to learn the knowledge of the inner part of our heart, Suluk, Tasawwuf, cleanliness and purification of heart from our Sufiya Kiram. They had stayed in the company of their Mashayikh and learned from them. And they had progressed through the stages of Suluk and Ihsan and Tazkiyah. This is وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ وَيُعَلِّمُهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْحِكْمَةَ وَيُزَكِّيهِمْ. This Tazkiyah, Tasfiyah of Qulub, Hadith al-Ihsan. So, Tasawwuf is a huge branch of our deen. In the Hadith of Jibreel, what was the first question? Mal Iman. Second question, Mal Islam. And third question, Mal Ihsan. What is Ihsan? And Prophet ﷺ said, An ta'bud Allah ka'annaka tarah. So Hazrat Shaykh in his book Fadhail Amal has mentioned these quotes of Sufiya Kiram, alayhimur rahmati wa ridwan, true Sufis. Let me explain this a little bit more. Allama ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullahi alayhi himself was a great alim and a great Sufi. After Fajr, he would sit on his place for hours until the sun would rise beautifully, busy in his wazaif, azkar and awrad. He had lots of wazaif and azkar. And he would say, these wazaif and azkar are food for my soul. If I don't do these azkar, then my soul would die with hunger and thirst. And he would sit among his students and he would say, if you want something from me, you have to focus on my heart. Whatever you will get will be from here. Meaning Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala showers the tajalliyat and warat on his heart, and his example is like that of a tap. The water comes from the tank, but through the tap. And people use that water. Similarly, the fuse barakat descend on the heart of the Shaykh, and from the Shaykh it is transferred to the murideen. So Allah ibn Taymiyyah used to say that while you are in my presence, focus on my heart. Whatever you will get will be from my heart. So Ibn Taymiyyah was a great Sufi wali of Allah himself. Now he has his Fatawa, Majmu' al-Fatawa, and it's in about 40 volumes. One of the volumes is about Tasawwuf. Now, nearly half or more than half is about true and right Tasawwuf and the Sahih, correct Sufiya, Awliya, like Junaid Baghdadi, Abdul Qadir Jilani, and Abu Ali al-Ruzbari, and Harith ibn Asad al-Muhasibi, and all these legends of the Tasawwuf. And then the other half is about Do Number Kamal, the Rubis. Those who pretend to be a Sufi and who pretend to know a lot, but in reality, they are the imposters, deceivers, treacherous nature. They want to deceive people and gain money from them. So they have become like Sufis, appearance like Sufis, but in reality, their heart is empty and void. There's nothing in there. So he mentions their stories and criticizes them. Now what some people do today is they just take the other part of criticism of Tasawwuf from Ibn Taymiyyah's Majmu' al-Fatawa and leave the first part in which he praises the correct Sufis. This is khiyanat with Allama Ibn Taymiyyah rahmatullahi alayhi. You can't do this khiyanat with his kitabs. So, Hazrat Shaykh Abdul Raheem, he narrates these quotes of Sufiya Kiram in his book Fadhail Amal. So, some people don't like Tasawwuf, so they don't like Fadhail Amal. They criticize Fadhail Amal. Now, we will quote over here, which Maulana has narrated in Difa'i Fadhail Amal. Maulana Muhammad Ishaq Bhatti writes, he is a non-Muqallid, Salafi scholar in Pakistan. He writes, for the past 25 years, I have seen many of our writers, meaning Salafi writers, criticizing Tasawwuf and Sufiya Kiram. And they have taken this upon themselves as fard and a necessity to criticize Tasawwuf and Sufiya Kiram. He writes in another place, I have to say with great regret that dua, wasaif, Tasawwuf has finished from the Jamaat of Ahl Hadith. In fact, some people are saying that these du'as, wazaif and riwayat of tasawwuf are all bid'ah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. His words, Nubushe Azmate Rafta, page number 23. You see, he is lamenting that from our people, these du'as, connection of the heart with Allah, wazaif, tasawwuf, all these riyazat, mujahada, tilawat of Quran, making an effort to turn to Allah, tahajjud, ishraq, chash, awwabin, all these nawafilul a'mal, it's all gone from our group. Hazrat Shaykh Abdul Raheem focuses on these a'mal in Fadhail namaz, in Fadhail zikr, in Fadhail Ramzan, in Fadhail sadaqat, Fadhail tabligh, and hikayat sahaba. Sahaba's devotion, their ibadat, they're spending hours in ibadat, long nights, long hours of the night standing in front of Allah. Where is this? All this has faded away. Shaykh narrates all this in Fadhail Amal to bring people towards worship and ibadat and towards connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But these people say it's gone from our Jamaat. They say, let alone nawafil, we don't even need to pray the sunnat, sunnat-e-rawatib, sunnat-e-muakkada. 2 before Fajr, 4 before Zuhr, 2 after Zuhr, 2 after Maghrib, 2 after Isha, 12 sunnat-e-muakkada. They say we only pray Faraz, that's enough for us. Because Faraz is enough to take us into Jannah. The hadith of Arabi, أَفْلَحَ وَبِهِ صَدَقَةً دَخَلَ الْجَنَّةَ وَبِهِ صَدَقَةً, that's enough for us. Now this type of mentality, now what this is doing is, it's drifting people away from deen. Someone sent me a photo yesterday, of people in Ihram, in Muzdalifah, during Hajj, playing cards at night. Why? Because they say, these people, they say, well, there is no tahajjud in Muzdalifah, because the Prophet ﷺ didn't pray tahajjud in Muzdalifah, we shouldn't pray tahajjud in Muzdalifah. Now, they're not praying tahajjud, and in place of tahajjud, what are they doing? They're playing cards in Muzdalifah, in Ihram. Now, Prophet ﷺ didn't pray tahajjud in Muzdalifah for a particular reason. Because if he would have prayed it there, people would have taken it as an act, a ritual of Hajj, and his ummah would have been in difficulty. So he wanted to make it easy for his ummah. He was trying to take the easiest options. So he deliberately left tahajjud that night, and he is still asleep. So his ummah can come. They can, many people will not be able to get there on time. They might not be able to pray. They might come very close to the morning. So how are they going to pray tahajjud? So he didn't want to put them in difficulty. He missed this tahajjud deliberately. But that does not mean we have to miss it as well. If we are there, we have time, and we are at ease, we have to try and pray tahajjud. Or if you take Sahaba, Tabi'een, Awliya, Izam, they used to pray tahajjud in there. But these people, are taking people away from deen by these types of behaviors. This is what Maulana Sahib is saying over here, Maulana Muhammad Ishaq Bhatti Sahib. So, in Fadhail A'mal, there are Sufiya Kiram's A'mal practices. Maybe this is one of the reasons they object on Fadhail A'mal. Sometimes they say tasawwuf is not proven from Quran Hadith. Sometimes they say it is not needed for Islah enough. A person can do his own Islah. There is no need for Shaykh. Quran Hadith are enough. There is no need for stories of the Sufis. So these types of objections are on. My friends, we need some Shaykh, Shuyukh, Mashayikh. We need to stay in their company, benefit from them, do our Islah of Nafs. This is the way, this is the ta'amul and tawaruth of Salafi Salihin. You can't go against the ta'amul and tawaruth and continuous practice of Salafi Salihin. So, bringing this to a close, I will say that many books have been written in defense of Fadhail A'mal. For example, Hazrat Shaykh Abdul Raheem himself wrote one book, Kutub Fadhail wa Ishkalat, uski jawabat. Number 2, आपके मसाइल और उनका हल. मौलाना यूसुफ Dhiarbi Rahmatullah Alayhi in his Fatawa has defended Tablighi Jamaat and has defended Fadhail A'mal. He is a Khalifa of Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria Rahmatullah Alayhi as well. Number 3, एक यादगार मुलाकात by Maulana Muhammad Amin Safdar Ukarvi. This is a small risala in Maulana Amin Safdar Ukarvi's Majmu'ah Rasail. You know, he had this conversation with a person called Wahid Sahab. Wahid Sahab was in Karachi, and he came to see Maulana Sahab, and he said, I had a job in America, and I went there. I was doing my job further away from Deen. Some brothers from Jamaat, you know, I met them somewhere. They took my address, phone number. They came to my house, and you know, they encouraged me about practice and taught me about Deen. I liked them. I started frequenting the masjid. I went in Tabligh Jamaat. Alhamdulillah, my condition improved. Deen came in our house. We started doing ta'aleem of Fadhail A'mal in our house. My family, my wife, my children. Alhamdulillah, we had so much sukoon and peace in our lives. So I started going in Jamaat as well. And for 4 years, I used to go whenever I could. And Alhamdulillah, we had so much sukoon. Suddenly, on one Eid, I met some youngsters at one place, and they invited me to their place, but they had no beard on their faces, and you know, they were talking about Deen. So I thought to myself, let me go and talk to them, give them some advice. So when I went to their place, rather than giving them some advice, they started giving me advice. And they started saying, you are doing this Tabligh Jamaat, Fadhail A'mal, this is wrong, that is wrong, this is fabrication, that is fabrication. You need to read this book, you need to read Salatul Rasul. Look at Salatul Rasul. You know, this is the proper Salah. Salatul Rasul came from Makkah and Medina, and Fadhail A'mal came from India. So why are you reading Indian book, and why are you not reading the Makki and Madani book? So I said to them, where was Salatul Rasul written? It was written in Sialkot. So it's Sialkoti book, not Makkah Medina book. So he says, well, the Hadith in there is from Makkah Medina. So I said, well, Hadith in Fadhail A'mal is also from Makkah Medina. However, they started saying that, well, this is Mawzu', look, this is fabrication, that is fabrication. I said, look, in Fadhail A'mal, in one place it's written that Hazrat Hanzala came to the Prophet ﷺ and said, Ya Rasulullah, nafaqa Hanzala. Hanzala has become a hypocrite. Why? He said, because we have wife, we have children, so we stay in your majlis and we feel really good, as though Jannah is before our eyes. But when we leave your majlis, go to our wives and children, then we forget all that. And our condition is different. This is hypocrisy. So Prophet ﷺ said, Ya Hanzala, if you remain in the state in which you are with me, then Malaika will shake hands with you while you are walking on the road. So, however, Hanzala, sa'atan wa sa'atan. This condition is also necessary, that is also necessary. Sometimes this, sometimes that. Both are necessary to have a smooth life. So he says, this is happened. In one place, another hadith is narrated that Hanzala had just got married, and he was in need of ghusl janabat yet, and the announcement was made that an army is attacking Medina. So he rushed towards the battlefield and he fought. He became shaheed. So Prophet ﷺ saw, Sahaba saw that his body was already bathed and ready for burial. So they couldn't understand that who gave him ghusl and ready for burial. So Prophet ﷺ informed the Sahaba that the Malaika gave him ghusl. They inquired about the reason, and his wife said it was our first night. He had, had sexual intercourse. He had not done ghusl yet. And when the announcement was made, he rushed towards the battlefield and he died in the state of Janaba. So Prophet ﷺ said that is why the Malaika gave him ghusl. Now, he says both hadiths contradict. In the first hadith, they say he had children. But in this hadith, it says that it was his first night, he had no children. So one of the two hadiths is wrong. Both hadiths are in Fadhail Amal. So Fadhail Amal has contradiction in it. So Hazrat Maulana Amin Sahab said, oh bhai, this is not an objection on Fadhail Amal. This is the objection on the place where the hadith is coming from. And you are objecting because you are not understanding both hadiths. Both Hanzala are different. One Hanzala is Hanzala ibn Rabi', Katib al-Wahi. The other Hanzala is Hanzala ibn Malik, Ghazil al-Malaika. So the first one did have family, children. The second one was young, it was his first night, he had no children. There is no contradiction. So, those ghair muqallid young men, they confused me, and I confused many people with this objection that this is wrong, it was Amal. So, in this type of behavior, they said that, they drifted me away from Deen. And all that peace and sukoon of mind, it deserted me. So, when he spoke with Maulana Amin Safdar Sahab, Maulana Amin Sahab explained to him, he did tawbah and he, alhamdulillah, got back to, his proper way of going in the path of Allah and reading Fadhail Amal, benefiting from the book of Hazrat Shaykh Abdul Raheem. So this is a short summary of what Hazrat Maulana has narrated in there. There is a lot of discussion in there along with that as well. Also, Fadhail Amal par i'tirazat kyun? This is taqreer of Maulana Muhammad Ismail Muhammadi. Also, Tablighi Jamaat Ulama Haq ki Adalat mein Maulana Muhammad Ayyub Kuhati. मौलाना फ़ज़ाइल अमाल और सदक़ात पर बाज़ एतराज़ात के जवाबात मौलाना मोहम्मद बिलाल साहब and फ़ज़ाइल अमाल का आदिलाना दिफ़ा. This is by Maulana Rabnawaz Sahab, a huge book of maybe 500 pages. And over here, this Tahqiqul Maqal fi Takhrij Hadith Fadhail A'mal, and this Maulana Abdullah Ma'rufi Sahab, Fadhail A'mal par i'tirazat ek jaiza. So these are various books with regards to Fadhail Amal and the objections that are made upon Fadhail Amal. I think we have covered almost everything. Maulana Mufti Tawseef Sahab, सब cover हो गया, कुछ बाकी है. वैसे ये बस I'm going to finish off now. Just one thing to note. Whenever you object on someone or something, you have to be munsif, insaf. You have to be just. This is the principle of jarh wa ta'deel, the science of criticism of rijal. I'm going to quote to you something which Hazrat Maulana Abdul Hayy Lakhnawi rahmatullahi alayhi has written in Al-Raf'u wa Takmeel fi Al-Jarh wa Ta'deel, page number 67. He writes in there, يشترط في الجارح والمعدل العلم والتقوى والورع والصدق والتجنب عن التعصب ومعرفة أسباب الجرح والتزكية ومن ليس كذلك لا يقبل منه الجرح ولا التزكية. Translation is, when a person criticizes someone or praises someone, calls him reliable, for both, the condition is that that person should have ilm, knowledge, taqwa, fear of Allah, wara, cautious nature, he should be of a cautious nature, sidq, he should be truthful, and tajannub anit ta'assub, staying away from ta'assub. ta'assub का क्या तर्जुमा करेंगे मौलाना साहब? Racism, biasness, from being extremely biased towards your own views and against the other person. It's called ta'assub. You are stubborn, you stick to your views. You don't want to hear about anyone else. So you have to stay away from ta'assub. And وَمَعْرِفَةُ أَسْبَابِ الْجَرْحِ. And you have to know the reasons for jarh and tazkiyah. He says, وَمَنْ لَيْسَ كَذَلِكَ لَا يُقْبَلُ مِنْهُ الْجَرْحُ وَلَا التَّزْكِيَةُ. If someone is not such a person, he has no ilm, he has no taqwa, he has no wara', he has no sidq, truthfulness, he doesn't stay away from ta'assub, and he doesn't know the asbab of jarh and tazkiyah, then his criticism or ta'deel, jarh or ta'deel will not be accepted. This is Mawlana Abdul Hayy Laknawi. Listen to what Shamsuddin Zahabi Rahmatullah says. Zahabi writes in Tazkiratul Huffaz, page 4, volume 1. حق على المحدث أن يتورع فيما يؤديه وأن يسأل أهل المعرفة والورع ليعينوه على إيضاح مروياته، ولا سبيل إلى أن يصير العارف الذي يزكي نقلة الأخبار ويجرحهم جهبذا، يعني نقادا خبيرا، إلا بإدمان الطلب والفحص عن هذا الشأن وكثرة المذاكرة والسهر والتيقظ والفهم مع التقوى والدين المتين والإنصاف والتردد إلى العلماء والإتقان. وإلا تفعل فدع عنك الكتابة لست منها ولو سودت وجهك بالمداد، فإن آنست من نفسك فهما وصدقا ودينا وورعا، وإلا فلا تفعل. وإن غلب عليك الهوى والعصبية لرأي أو لمذهب فبالله لا تفعل. وإن عرفت أنك مخلط مخبط مهمل لحدود الله فأرحنا منك. You understand that, brother Muslim? It's clear for you. Long ibarat. Shamsuddin Zahabi Rahmatullah is saying that for a person who is busy in hadith, and who is into hadith and the science of teaching, then it is necessary upon him to interact with Ahlul Ma'rifah wal Wara', ask them, talk to them, understand from them, so that they can explain the wazahat of the riwayat. A person cannot be an arif, a man of knowledge, who can go to the rank of jarh and ta'deel of rawat and be an expert in that field, except by continuous research, and except by busying himself in this field, and except by kasratul muzakara, musabala, being busy and staying awake at night and staying alert, understanding. Along with that, he should have taqwa. His deen should be strong, proper deendar, and he should have justice in him. And he should go and frequent the majalis of ulama, and he should be pukhta and profound in his knowledge. If you don't have these, then don't get into this science of criticizing the muhaddithin and attacking them. فَدَعْ عَنْكَ الْكِتَابَةَ لَسْتَ مِنْهَا وَلَوْ سَوَّدْتَ وَجْهَكَ بِالْمِدَادِ. Leave yourself from writing these things, even if you blacken your face with the ink. Then he says, if you feel in yourself understanding, wisdom, truthfulness, deen, parhezgari, wara', then you can speak on in this field, otherwise don't do it. And if hawa, nafsani khahishat, and desires, carnal desires, and asabiyyah, stubbornness and biasness is ghalib on you for a rai or for a mazhab, then billah, for Allah's sake, don't tire yourself. And if you know that you are only confusing people, and you are causing a schism and a khabat among people, and you are abandoning the hudud of Allah, the limits set by Allah, you yourself are not properly practicing, and you yourself are not proper deendar, then farihna minka. Leave us from yourself. Please don't come into this field of criticizing. So, to those who are objecting, I'm requesting them, ponder over this chapter of Shamsuddin Zahabi Rahmatullah. Then do get rid of all the asabiyyat from your hearts and minds. And for those who are listening, wherever they are in the world, I will request you as well, that don't believe in anyone who criticizes anyone on the internet, on WhatsApp, on social media, everywhere. your deen should be strong. You should be very concerned about where you get your deen from. So don't get your deen from unreliable sources. When our Mashayikh, Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria Rahmatullah is such a great legend, we knew what type of muhaddith he was. That if someone starts attacking them, then it will only be for asabiyyat, and it will only be for khayish of some motives behind it. Otherwise, it's not for the sake of deen. There is no ikhlas in that type of comment. There might be, some, Maulana Abdullah Marufi has explained, but that can be. I'll go over that just 1 second. Hazrat Maulana Abdullah Marufi writes that objection on Fadhail Kutub could be for one of three, reasons, 3 times. One, ishkal, objection of Talib-e Haq, seeker of truth. If he comes to Ahli Ilm explain to them that objection is removed and his mind is at peace and tranquility. Number 2, some ishkalat are from, aqliyat type, and they reject each and everything. And whatever goes against their aql, they reject it. Like we explained, khun pina, drinking the blood, tawassul, wasila. They're not going to accept no matter what you say. So we don't need to, indulge with them. Number 3, he says, some tanqidat objections are maybe ilmi, and they feel that this is something knowledgeable, and this is the reason. Now, if you go into Majmu'ah of Fadhail A'mal of Shaykh Abdul Raheem, and if you have some objections, Hazrat Maulana says, study carefully, inshallah your objections will be removed. Hazrat Maulana says that we can give that answer with 3 points. Number 1 point, is Fadhail A'mal a mu'tabar, reliable book or not? And does Shaykh take his hadith and his content from reliable sources or not? This is one nukta. Check that out. And we can say with 100% confidence that the Shaykh's sources are reliable. He takes from Targheeb wa Tarheeb of Munziri, he takes from Riyadh al-Salihin of Nawawi, he takes from Mishkat al-Masabih, he takes from the Sharh of Mishkat Mirqat al-Mafatih Mullah al-Qari, and he takes from Ghazali's Ihya al-Ulum, he takes from Rawd al-Riyahin. These are the main sources. He says, because these are my main sources, I don't give their references. But if there is another source, I give that reference for that kitab, that this mazmoon I have taken from this kitab. So his sources, where he gets his material from, is reliable, so the book is reliable. Number 2. Second point is that, with regards to using Zaif ahadith in Fadhail A'mal, is that correct or not correct? And I explained that in the first discourse, that it is the ta'amul of Salaf, tawaruth of Salaf, that weak hadiths are accepted in Fadhail A'mal. So Shaykh is going according to what is mutawarith, what is kal ijma' in the terms of Imam Nawawi rahmatullah. So Shaykh's books can be trusted. And number 3, third point is, for Targheeb Tarheeb, can we use aqwal, af'al, hikayat of Salihin or not? Can we use mubasharat and dreams, Sahara or not? Up to how much? This is the third point. And we have explained that using hikayat of Salihin is allowed, there is no harm in there. Allah Himself narrates hikayat in the Quran. Allah says, لِنُثَبِّتَ بِهِ فُؤَادًا وَكُلًّا نَقُصُّ عَلَيْكَ مِنْ أَنْبَاءِ الرُّسُلِ مَا نُثَبِّتُ بِهِ فُؤَادًا. To tathbeetul fu'ad, with hikayat, the heart is strengthened. So Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah narrates these stories to strengthen the heart, and they are narrated from a reliable source. They are not his own stories, he's narrating them, and he feels that they are okay. We feel they are okay as well. Alhamdulillah, throughout the whole world, people study Fadhail A'mal, and they, Alhamdulillah, rely, trust Hazrat Shaykh Rahmatullah. We also trust him. There is no harm in that. So this is what, with regards to that. Finally, we'll close off again on that subject of the conditions of a jarih. When you want to criticize, how should you be? In Fawatih al-Rahmud, Sharh Musallam al-Thubut, it's written, La budda lil-muzakki, you can say, wal-jarih idan, an yakuna adlan, عارفا بأسباب الجرح والتعديل وأن يكون منصفا ناصحا لا أن يكون متعصبا ومعجبا بنفسه فإنه لا اعتداد بقول المتعصب كما قدح الدارقطني في الإمام الهمام أبي حنيفة رضي الله عنه بأنه ضعيف في الحديث. وأي شناعة فوق هذا، فإن الإمام أبا حنيفة رحمه الله إمام ورع تقي نقي خائف من الله وله كرامات شهيرة، فبأي شيء تطرق إليه الضعف. That a jarih or muzakki should have full knowledge of criticism and isbah, and he should be munsif, just, and he should be nasih. What should he be? Nasih. Nasih means khair khahi, wishing well, trying to get the best for the community, trying to get the best for the other people. Shaykh Zakaria rahmatullah was of this type. He wanted the best for the Muslim world. So in order to give the best to the Muslim world, he wrote Fadhail Amal. And he worked really hard, tirelessly. He spent hours and hours studying. I've been to Saharanpur, I've been to his study room upstairs. Small room, surrounded by books. And he used to lock himself downstairs so nobody could come up. And he was sitting there for hours and hours writing, without any, disturbance. No disturbance whatsoever. He's there alone, writing, busy for many hours. Once, Malakul Maut came to meet him there as well. The doors were locked, and suddenly he sees someone in front of him. He's a bit shocked. And he said, "Don't worry, I am Malakul Maut." And as the Shaykh Abdullah said, "Come on, then take me." And said, "Your time is not up yet. I've just come to have a chat with you and make you feel at ease. When the time comes, we'll take you, inshallah." So it is when he's busy himself, absorbed in it. In fact, I went in Ramadan, and by Shahid Sahabanpuri once mentioned that my father Hakim Ilyasa, who was very close to Hazrat Shaykh Abdul Raheem, he went up to Hazrat Shaykh's, Darul Tasrif at about around 11:30. So Hazrat Shaykh was busy in writing. So when he opened the door, he said, "Hakim ji, aage," because he was, related, so he had special access. So he went up there. So he said, "Hakim ji, 11:30 ho gaye?" After 11, he said, "Yes." "Do char bachon ko bulao." Called the 3 youngsters with lathi, with sticks. So they came up, and Hazrat Shaykh Abdullah said, "वहाँ किताबों के पीछे एक सांप छुपा हुआ है, वो सांप ही है, मारो उसको." There's a snake hiding behind those books. So remove those books and kill him. It is a snake. It's not a jinn or anything else. So Hakim ji went and brought those youngsters. So they removed the book, and the snake came out and stood up with his क्या कहते हैं ऊपर से फन निकालते हैं ना, फन निकाल के, and the youngsters, they finished it off. Now imagine, as the Shaykh was sat there, he was writing, he was so absorbed in the writing that even that snake did not disturb him. So he had his Darul Tasneef, and he had old books around him. He's busy with all the books, and he's writing. This is how he wrote all these books. And finally, my dear friends, Shaykh Zakaria, Nauzubillah, didn't want to take the community to Jahannam by writing fabricated hadith and fabricated stories. He was fearful of Allah himself. He wanted to take the people to Jannah. That's why he wrote this kitab. Some people say, one of my friends, in fact, our brother Saeed Anwar, cricketer, he had friendship with one of the imams of Ghair Muqallid, non-Muqallidin, because they're both from same area. So he went to visit him when he came to UK, up north. So friends, they start talking, and then they talk about Tabligh. And I said, "Yaar, ye Jamaat Gumrahi wali Jamaat hai. They misguide people." So Sayyid Anwar said, "Maulana sahib, you are Maulana, I am not Maulana. But I want to ask one question. What is this Jamaat doing? It's going around people's homes, knocking doors, bringing them to masjid, making them pray namaz, right? And that's all they're doing. The namaz padho, roze rakho, Allah karo, zikr karo, iman, yaqeen, akhirat. Many people are keeping biyat, mashallah, coming to deen. Many deen in many homes. It's here, we have to accept that." So Sayyid Anwar said, "Maulana sahib, can hidayat be spread by a Jamaat of Dalalat? Hidayat can only be spread by a Jamaat of Hidayat, not by Dalalat. If a Jamaat, if a group is misguided, they will only spread misguidance. If Tabligh is spreading guidance, then it is on guidance itself. This is a simple, I'm not debating with any scholarly masail, I'm just asking you a simple question. And this is my understanding that Alhamdulillah Jama'at Tabligh is spreading Hidayah. Fadhail A'mal is spreading Hidayah. So it can only be a book of Hidayah, a book of misguidance, a book of Dhalalat, Gumrahi cannot spread Hidayah. It's a simple, fact for a layman to understand. So this is what I will conclude the talk on. That Alhamdulillah, Fadhail Amal is a book of Hidayat. That is why it's spreading Hidayat around the world, and that is why it's the most read book around the world after the Quran Sharif. Even today, wherever you go, Alhamdulillah, the book is read and people get guidance through it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower immense rahmah and barakah and peace upon the grave of Hazrat Shaykh al-Hadith Maulana Muhammad Zakaria Sahab, Nawwarallahu marqadahu wa barrada mutjahu. May Allah reward him for his efforts. May Allah elevate his ranks. And may Allah preserve and protect all the good works which Hazrat has done. All Fadhail Amal, Mu'jizul Masalik, and Bazal, and Lami', and Khasail Nabawi, and Hajjatul Wada. Hazrat Shaykh wrote over 110 books, large and small. He was a great author. For Mu'jizul Masalik, it took him 30 years to write Mu'jizul Masalik. 30 years, a huge encyclopedia which you need a team to write. He single-handedly wrote that book. So he was a great man of his time, and Alhamdulillah, he did good work. Brother Wasim was asking, did you meet Shaykh Zakaria? How did you benefit from him? Yes, Alhamdulillah, we did meet him twice, in 1979 and in 1981 when he came to the UK. And in 1981, Alhamdulillah, I had the privilege to get bayat towards the Shaykh Zakaria. So we were bayat to him as well, and also I had the privilege of taking ijazat of hadith from Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria as well. So we have ijazat of teaching hadith from Hazrat Shaykh. This is all the barakat of Darul Ulum Bari and of our Hazrat Maulana Yusuf Mutala Sahab, Damat Barakatuhum, that we were studying Riyadus Salihin at that time. So Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria said, all those students who are studying hadith, I will give them ijazat of teaching hadith. So he had a small booklet in which he would sign or stamp. So we were told to copy that page of ijazat. They copied it, and the Sheikh's stamps were made there. And alhamdulillah, we have ijazat of teaching hadith from Hazrat Shaykh Zakaria, rahmatullahi alayhi, and the privilege to get bayat to him as well. So this is our connection with Hazrat Shaykh, rahmatullahi alayhi. May Allah accept, may Allah be pleased. Jazakallah for giving me your time and inviting me over here. And inshallah, we will conclude on that.
Do anybody have any questions very quickly? One of the sisters.
Reading 2 books? I didn't say reading 2 books. Did I say something like 2 books? I meant Fadhail A'mal. Read all Fadhail A'mal. Fadhail Sadaqat I mentioned more important because Fadhail Sadaqat is something which we need today. Because today we are in material world. Everybody is after the material world. Dunya, paisa. We want money, you want to become a millionaire, easy money. Who wants to be a millionaire? So everybody wants to be a millionaire. So if you read Fadhail Sadaqat, it brings zuhd in you. And it brings you closer to Akhirat and distances you from dunya. So this is why I put more emphasis on Fadhail Sadaqat. Otherwise, read all the books. I mentioned in Mufti Farooq Saab's madrasa in Birat in Khanqa, the whole Fadhail Amal from beginning till end was read in Ta'aleem throughout the month of Ramadan. For 1 hour or 1.5 hours, it was read every day. So read Fadhail Amal and inshallah you will benefit from that. No. Did Maulana Talha Sahab and others consider editing Fadhail Amal and removing anything from it? Not that I know of, no. In fact, they published it as it is. Fadhail Amal's old name was Tablighi Nisab. Then they changed it to Fadhail Amal. For whatever the reason was. But in Tablighi Nisab, the old one, Fadhail Durood Sharif was included in there. Then later on, Fadhail Durood Sharif was published separately. That is why in Fadhail Amal there's 6 books and Fadhail Durood Sharif is published separately. Oh, many background is maybe this is published separately. And a beautiful, maybe the importance of Salat al Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, developing connection with the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is available from Darul Ulum and is available in all major bookshops and is available in English as well. Mufti Javed Iqbal Sahab over here, translated into English. You can take it from him over here in Birmingham, from Mufti Javed Sahab, inshallah. ठीक है? बस हो गया? दुरूद शरीफ पढ़ लो, दुआ कर लें. सुब्हानकल्लाहुम्मा व बिहम्दिक, नशहदु अन ला इलाहा इल्ला अंत, नस्तगफिरुका व नतूबु इलैक. अल्लाहुम्मा लकल हम्द व लकश शुक्र. اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنت كما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم صل على سيدنا محمد النبي الأمي وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم تسليما. اللهم انفعنا بما علمتنا وعلمنا ما ينفعنا وزدنا علما. اللهم ارزقنا حبك وحب الرسول وحب من ينفعنا حبه عندك وحب عمل يقربنا إلى حبك. Ya Arhamar Rahimeen, O Allah, you are the most merciful among those who show mercy. O Allah, please have mercy upon us. Please forgive our mistakes. Please forgive our shortcomings. Please have mercy upon us. Allah, please accept this program. Allah, please give a good reward to Hazrat Shaykh Al-Hadith, Maulana Muhammad Zakaria Sahab, for writing Fadhail. Accept his work, Fadhail Ahmad. Spread it around the world. Give the people the tawfiq to read Fadhail Ahmad and to benefit from Fadhail Ahmad and to change their lives through Fadhail Ahmad. The understanding of the virtues of the actions and deeds, and to practice and draw themselves closer and gain the taqarrub qurb of Allah and the mahbubiyyah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through Fadhail Ahmad. And accept our program, accept the good work that Mufti Tawseer Sahab and Darul Ilm is doing, and Allah grant him barakah and taraqi and progress and fulfill his needs, and Allah give good reward to the committee and the community of this masjid. Make this masjid a markaz of rushd and hidayat for all those who are in the neighborhood, and Allah fulfill the needs of this masjid as well. Protect the masjid, and Allah fulfill their needs. Accept our humble efforts. Be pleased with us. Give us all those good things which your beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked from you. Protect us from all those trials, tribulations, problems, fitnas from which your beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to seek your protection. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم وصل اللهم وسلم على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك.